Hey everybody. Um, that was interesting to say the very least. I am here in a different position yet again in the home kit that I thought we were, or the away kit that I thought we were going to wear today. That did not happen, and we had an eventful match to say the least. And we're going to talk all about it today. We're going to talk about what we saw. Talk about the complaints that I know a lot of people are going to have, and probably rightly so for some, and confusingly so for others. And in the end, though, just such a La Liga match, a prime crappy La Liga match with bad refereeing, or not even bad refereeing, just in, incompetent timing, unorganized discussion, and unclear rules and everything going around with it. We're going to get into it today. First and foremost, though, Barcelona won. That's the important part. We got 3 points. We're moving forward. In a game against Mallorca that we've had pretty good success against them in recent weeks. I'm just pulling up the tactics, the board and everything, just to so I can show you, get into the review a little bit of each player. We're not going to go super in depth from each player because of the situation, the way the game went. I think it's kind of hard to read too much into the performances of a lot of these guys realistically from what we saw today, and that's okay. I think for the most part, the team looked good. It's really hard though because there were two red cards for Mallorca. I think well, first one was a little silly. It happened after Lamine kicked a ball in, trying to he took a shot, and then the defender cleared it with his head. It went right against his head. I can see it being in an uncomfortable way. To me, it looks like he stumbles forward, falls on his face to kind of get fake a head injury and expects the stopping of play. They don't stop play. Ferran Torres scores the second from there. That led to a yellow card for one of the players, and then an eventual another yellow card once he fouled Lamine later on in the play. Definitely a foul. I don't know if that one's a yellow card. Very chaotic set of like 5 minutes where I don't know. It's just annoying. I think they don't. The referee doesn't have to stop play there. I know you're supposed to stop play for a head injury, but you're also supposed to let play go on. It's a little confusing. I think I was watching the Liverpool match yesterday, and there was something like it where it was pretty clear that the defender is just faking a head injury to stop play. And I do think a lot of players have abused that rule to just fake a head injury, stop play when they're in dangerous positions. And it's worked sometimes. It doesn't work. It didn't work there. I'm not necessarily saying he faked it. I know when you clear a ball here, it hurts. I've taken headers before. I've played the game. I know it hurts there. I also know that that isn't a silly position for all your teammates to stop playing completely and assume the referee is going to blow the whistle. When he doesn't blow the whistle, I've seen some fake, not fake, but the announcer mistakenly said that he blew the whistle, and a lot of people on Twitter ran with that. That's not what happened. And it just created a lot of chaos in the game. I'm gonna kind of move on past that because I just don't know what more. There's no much more to say than that, unless you're gonna whine or try and argue for it happening. I think either the referee has to blow the whistle or your entire team needs to play on. Those are the only two things that need to happen. The referee didn't blow the whistle and the team didn't play on. Therefore, Ferran got a little bit of space and ended up scoring. Now, before that happened, Rafinha scored a very good goal. It was like prime Lamine linking up with Rafinha beautifully. It's what we've come to expect from this Barcelona side in a very clean way. I think the game was looking to be very exciting, where Barcelona were getting a few chances, but it was difficult, and there was some counterattacking opportunities where Mallorca was trying to break through the high line, and they did a couple times. Murici just kind of just passed it right to Jean Garcia when he had an opportunity. Now that we mentioned the big Albanian boy, Murici ended up getting a red card later in the game, which I think is like, shut up if you're arguing this. You're wrong. He studs John Garcia in the face. And he has every right to go for that ball, but that is dangerous play when you raise your boot that high. Jean Garcia is 6'3" and jumps a little bit, and Maurici's boot gets him right here. It wasn't like it didn't stab him in the face, but that is a very high boot when you know a goalkeeper is coming for that, which for the most part, Garcia did that wonderfully today, going out for that and being brave, especially against a striker like Murici, who's been very difficult, is always very feisty. It's a red card. It's a red card. He misses the ball, and he gets a lot of the head of Jean Garcia. Therefore, because he misses the ball and he gets the face with the studs, that is a red card in my book, in everybody's book, and that's why it was called a red. I do think as the referee, if I'm in that situation, I probably let it just play out because he had given a red card to another one of the players for a second yellow to one of the players who had argued with him for the uncalled header out by the defender, and then who had fouled Lamine. I think it's a rough yellow where Lamine like beat two guys and then was about to beat this other guy, and he does get a little bit of Lamine's leg, pushes him off, pushes his legs off, so then they overlap and hit each other, and he falls over. That's a foul. I don't know if it's necessarily a yellow, and for that reason, I probably would have let Marichi's just be a yellow, even though that was obviously a red, just to kind of calm the fans down. They were all singing, "F you Barça," and just cursing out everything. They were screaming, they were losing their heads, and just to maintain a little bit of the peace. Though I understand why he didn't. And that's kind of how the game stayed. It was very chaotic with Mallorca defending like crazy, not really creating anything. Jean Garcia was coming out of his box pretty well to clean stuff up when they did have some sort of an opportunity. And then, went 2-0 going into the second half. Fermin was then taken off, who I think was fine. It was, again, really, really hard to judge players in this match where I think even tactically things began to switch up. In the second half, Hansi was trying some new things. He brought in Frankie de Jong was playing center back for like 10 minutes, which is something I thought I'd never see. And I don't know if I ever wanted to see that again, but it was fine because we weren't getting attacked, right? And that allowed us to have Pedri and Gavi in the middle. When Gavi came on for Kubarsi, who had a little bit of a head injury, went head to head with another player, and it looked a little, I don't know. I don't think anything happened from it, but I think it's good to take him out from there. I think that's very reasonable. And I thought Gavi looked really, really good in the middle, actually. Like, I thought, I'm excited to see more of Gavi. I didn't think he would look as good as he did and clean as he did. And I'm excited to see more of him. I've always been a fan of Gavi, and I want to see him play more football, and I'm excited to see what he can do. I think everyone else really performed pretty well. Araujo, I'm still getting used to the way he plays, man, and everything. I think he made a couple really good tackles on the ball. I'm a little concerned with him, and tried a few other things. There was, first of all, good finish and good connection from Lamine Yamal and Rafinha. They were both fleshing a lot of the game out. Lamine scored a banger right at the end to Que Golazo. He was looking for that all day, couldn't get it off, finally lifted it off on the last kick of the game, scored the third, which Barca were looking for very clearly for the most part of the second half. And I think it's deserved. I do think I'm happy for Lamine getting in a goal and an assist today and playing very well. Probably my man of the match. I do think the whole side played pretty solidly. Rafinha, I really liked watching today as well. Dani Olmo missed a sitter. Ferran Torres, I am happy with for the majority of the game he played. He made one outstanding clearance on a set piece from Mojica into the box. It was like it was an outswinger trying to just go around the back line and meet, one of their rushing defenders from the set piece or rushing attackers, and Ferran Torres was able to really athletically get a boot to it. I thought he also looked really good today, and I think the team did look a little bit worse when Rafinha and Ferran Torres both came off. But again, it got a little tactically weird for a little while. It was just Rashford and Lamine up front, and then Gavi and Olmo were supporting them. It looked like Olmo was wide at times, and Gavi was that number 10. It's something we're not used to seeing, and so it's kind of hard to judge. And it's also, again, in a game where you're playing against 9 players that have really no chance of attacking in any way, it's not a normal game. It was nice to see these guys kind of working it out. I didn't love some of the stuff I saw from Rashford. Like, he got distracted in the middle of a play once and just started kind of yelling at, or, I think one of the guys was pushing him around in the defensive line. Of course they are. They're trying to annoy him. They're trying to be pests because they have to be. They're down to 9 men and getting bombarded by Barcelona. I fully understand why they're messing with Rashford, and Rashford got in his head, turned around and started arguing with him instead of getting into the box or focusing on the play in any way. That's not cool. I don't like that. This was a fiery game, a lot of complaints, a lot of going on. I saw at one point one of the technical staff of Mallorca approached Rafinha at halftime, and really, one was holding his shoulder, talking to him after that bad foul that ended up being a yellow card. Probably not a red. It's not a good foul. It's not a good tackle. I'm not saying it is. I think it would have been a harsh red. I also probably would have understood if he did get a red because of the sentiment in the stadium at the time to kind of calm things down, right? You give him a red, it kind of makes it a little equitable. But I really don't think it was red worthy, especially because the guy got up right after. Wasn't clean though. I wouldn't be against you if you said it was a red. One of the technical trainers really got into his face after the other one was talking to him and to Rafinha, and it was too much. It was like fiery anxiety, and especially because the other player had gotten up already. He was fine. Um, it was just very much so anxiety and stuff. But I like that Koundé got up and started defending our boy Rafinha. It didn't look like he needed it, but nice to see some guys step up and do something like that. I like that. And no Lewandowski today, no Rooney Barchi. Barchi is still not registered. So we'll see how they work that out. I know his salary is not too high, so they should be able to figure it out, especially if Iñaki Peña leaves in the upcoming days, which I do expect to happen. Also, at one point, Joe Garcia had a wrist injury or a finger injury in the warm-ups. They had to, I guess his finger got dislocated and they cracked it back. I saw a photo of him actually cracking it back in this place, or one of the technical staff doing it. And that's always a displeasing thing to see, but he looked fine, and he looked pretty solid in the game, made a couple saves, and did his thing. It wasn't like stellar saves, but a clean sheet's a clean sheet even against 9 men, and we take it going forward. Same for the back line. I thought Joffre Torrance looked awesome. I liked him in preseason. I think I'm going to like him a lot moving forward, and I'm excited to see more of him as well. But having more depth with Balde and having, again, I've said this a lot in the preseason, having a guy that can kind of occupy a similar spot, a similar space in not just on the pitch, but in the way you play with this squad and connection with the squad is very important. That's one of the reasons I really like Rooney Barchi and Joffre Torrance. He put in a couple really good crosses. Unfortunately, Rashford wasn't in the best positions. I think Lewandowski would be slightly better at receiving those specific crosses. I do think Rashford was okay today. Still warming into everything. It was a feisty game too. It's a tough game to really judge a player like that. Especially a striker who's going to be around the defenders who are going to be more physical and messing with you. Frankie looked overall pretty solid. I'm not going to do my normal ratings anymore because I think the numbers are, I don't know. Let me know if you want to see them. I do think my man of the match probably goes to Lamine for the goal and the assist. Rafinha, I thought was great. I don't like that tackle that he made, but he does a really good job of not getting crazy heated, or he didn't today, and he was able to collect himself, apologize, do all the things I think I want to see from a guy I want to be my captain, in my opinion. And I'm trying to remember if there was anything outrageous that I saw. Pedri, I think Pedri was beautiful and just maintaining tempo. I'm really, though, impressed by Gavi, and I'm happy with what we saw. Again, Koundé came in, looked pretty solid. It was interesting to see Eric Garcia move to center back when Koundé came in instead of putting Koundé at center back, but there wasn't real worry about them having to defend much. And I thought Eric Garcia did look pretty good. And that's good, again, for depth of this squad. I think we are still a little light at center back. But as we go, I think it will get a little bit cleaner. And with Christensen and everybody slowly getting into the squad, I'm pretty happy. Again, with the refereeing, who the hell knows what's going to happen in La Liga. But I think this is a good start for us points-wise, for us Real Madrid TV complaints-wise. Who the hell knows? But honestly, guys, we pay no mind to it. We know exactly what they're going to do this season and how they're going to complain. And I think Mallorca fans can complain about today. I also think their players need to continue playing when someone, even if the center back goes down after clearing a ball. It's not like it was a head-to-head injury. It's not like he got knocked out the second the ball hit him. He headed it out, stumbled forward because it looked like he was just off balance, and then fell. And then held his head 10, 15 seconds, or not 10, 15 seconds, but 4 or 5 seconds later when he realized he didn't get a call, right? So I get the complaining. I do. It's frustrating that he didn't blow the whistle or that he put the whistle to his mouth, but he didn't blow it. Got to play on. It is what it is. I think the first red card is harsh, or the second yellow, and then the red from Morici is very clear. Still, I want to see us win. I want to see us blast a team 5-0 and not have to worry about nonsense calls like this. But it is what it is, boys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you. Wait. I did predictions right here if you want to watch that. Predictions is right here. If you haven't already, though, video on the main channel right here about Inigo Martinez and the defensive setup I'm expecting going into the season. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.